They don't go for solar. And within the university system, no, I must place the union in proper pathway for people to understand.
Hello and welcome. Nigeria's former ruling and current main opposition party, People's Democratic Party, PDP, now has a new national chairman. Ali Modu Sharif, the former governor of Borno State, was sworn in as the national chairman of the party on Tuesday, February 16th. But his selection has now further polarized the party, with some top members completely against his choice as national chairman. A group of former ministers who served under former President Goodluck Jonathan have kicked against his appointment. Even the party's board of trustees is divided over the issue. The Southeast and South-South caucuses of the party in the Senate have also rejected the choice of Sharif as national chairman, with some senators warning that it could lead to mass defection from the PDP in the days ahead. But Mr. Sharif enjoys the backing of the party's powerful PDP Governors Forum, who actually endorsed him and in fact put his name forward. Besides, he also enjoys the backing of the party's National Working Committee. Well, after he was sworn in as the national chairman of the party, he pledged to unite the party and take back power from the ruling APC in 2019. He said, quote, "The task ahead of us is very challenging. The task is to rebuild this party, carrying everybody along and make sure that PDP secures victory in 2019. I know that some people have expressed some feelings, I should say, which are allowed in any democracy. But I want to assure everybody that for the choice you made today, nobody will regret it. PDP will win, actually, come 2019. So who exactly is Ali Modu Sharif? And just why has his selection as chairman of the PDP become such a divisive issue? He served for 2 consecutive terms as governor of Nigeria's Northeast Borno State from 2003 to 2011 under the platform of the defunct All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP. He was a founding member of that party. Now, when the party merged with other parties to form the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, Sharif was among the party leaders who worked for the merger. But just before the 2015 general elections, he defected to the then ruling PDP. Mr. Sharif is a very controversial figure. It was while he was governor of Borno State that Boko Haram was born. He's been accused many times of being a sponsor of the sect, but he consistently denies the accusation. In fact, one party that has always made that accusation is the PDP that he now leads. Former President Goodluck Jonathan even alluded to it in one of his speeches while he was president. And in 2012, when he was a senator, Sharif was arrested upon entering Cameroon from Chad. He was arrested by Cameroon security forces, allegedly for his link with Boko Haram, but he was later released without a charge. Australian negotiator Stephen Davis also openly accused him of being a sponsor of Boko Haram. He denied it, saying that he was going to sue the Australian. And in April last year, he was arrested by the EFCC over allegations of misappropriation of funds. He was later released on bail, and nothing has been heard of the case since then. So did the PDP make a grave political mistake by choosing Modu Sharif to lead the party, or was it a political masterstroke? Joining me now on the program is a chieftain of the PDP and former senior special assistant on public affairs to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Donyo Okukwe. Dr. Okukwe, thank you very much for joining us on the program. First off, let me ask you, what's your take on the selection, I don't know how to put it now, the appointment of Modu Sharif as the chairman of your party?
Thank you, DEJI. Quite frankly, and to put it just directly as it is, and this is how I feel, I think the leadership of the party, whoever was behind this arrangement, led us to make a fatal error. It's fatal error. I pray to God Almighty that it is repairable, but definitely it's a fatal error.
And when I say fatal error, I mean how is this a fatal error?
Well, I'll tell you why. One, we've had this lingering crisis, about this, who will replace Alhaji Muazu from the Northeast. There's been a lot of intrigue, a lot of belly aching, etc., etc. It has taken us almost 8 months to get to this position. Finally, a very distinguished member of the party, very respectable person, Alhaji Gulak, Ahmed Gulak, went to court and obtained a judgment, the judgment which now spurred everybody into action and sort of aroused the attention of virtually every section of the party, particularly in the Northeast. Now, cumulatively, the Northeast was mandated to, when they could not bring a single candidate, they were then mandated to bring at least one nominee per state, on which the next meeting would have met. And then, they will have chosen one person. Alhaji Ali Modus Sharif was not part of this nomination. And all the story that was told by the members of the National Committee that they had to expand the membership of those to be interviewed is all crap and is not tenable. We should not, we should stop the acts of impunity that has led us into this quagmire, and near political disaster in which we are. And people, unless and until, this is what I call fatal error, unless and until politicians, not just PDP now, politicians in Nigeria across the board, returns power to the people and, understand that participative democracy totally negates the effect and influence of a tyrannical minority. Just a few people went into a room, decided that it shall be Ahmadu Sharif, and so they brought Ahmadu Sharif. It's total nonsense. It's unacceptable. Absolutely. And, as it has turned out, virtually 80% of the membership of the party, of the stakeholders of the party, have actually rejected this idea. What you said earlier on was wrong, that, it caused a division in the BOT. No, the BOT of the party, that is the Board of Trustees, were unanimous without any single exception. All of them unanimously voted and rejected this nomination. But, those who, wanted it, rammed it down the throat of everybody and, did whatever they had to do. Now, the fatality also resides in the fact that Ahmadu Sharif is a major controversial personality in the country, presently. The PDP does not require such a personality now to sit at the helms of its affairs. You need people that have no, baggage, that people can respect, that people can, accept their leadership without any burdensomeness. So, now, having done this and going against the interest of majority of the membership of the party, including stakeholders, leaders, and followers, if an exodus from the party, eventually follows this dangerous act, then the fatality becomes very obvious.
Let me ask you. You said the BOT, that's the Board of Trustees of the party, is unanimously against this. What exactly is the process of choosing a chairman for the party? Does it involve, for instance, chairman of the various state chapters of the party? What exactly does your constitution say about the selection or election or appointment of a national chairman of the party?
Okay. This is one part of the constitution that probably we need to look at again. It specifically addresses a bizarre situation in which, for for whatever reason, a current holder of an office, is no longer in that office, either by reason of death, or by resignation, or whatever makes that position vacant. Our constitution says that somebody from that zone will be nominated to complete his or her term. That is what the Constitution says. Now, once it is like that, in order not to make it something that is not broadly acceptable, then, the party has a convention. It is a convention. The National Caucus will meet and look at the nominations and approve a person. They will now take it to the Board of Trustees, who are expected to concur, with that nomination. Then it comes to the National Executive Committee of the party, which is the highest decision-making organ of the party, and they will either ratify it reject it, or made further nominations. These were the actions these were the processes that were actually followed. But the flaw in this process was that at the second point of consideration, at the Board of Trustee level, 100% of the members of the Board of Trustees rejected that nomination. And that should have halted that process at that point.
It would appear that there's no question at all that Modu Sharif is the choice of the governors. I'm talking about the governors of the PDP. And whether we like it or not, they are very, that group is a very strong stakeholder now in the PDP. And it appears they're actually taking over the leadership of the party. Do you get that sense?
Well, I'm a very experienced politician, and I read the situation very clearly. It's obvious that this is what the governors wanted. And you are very correct. The governors are, because of the system we operate, the governors are very, very strong in the party. It's not for any other reason, but for the fact that as a forum, they can actually determine the funding strength and capabilities of the party. And that is what is wrong with our present political system in the country. It's not just PDP. When only a few group of people are the people to finance the parties, then those who pays the piper are also expected to dictate the tune. When 13 people, no matter how powerful they are, sit down and decide over the destiny of 10, 15 million Nigerians without consultation with any format of, any representation of that group, then there's a problem. Yes, also at the level of the NEC meeting, all the 36 state chairmen are members of the NEC. So ordinarily, you will expect the state chairman to carry the opinions of their members in their state. But for a fact, we know that is not the case. The state chairmen do whatever they themselves want to do, and they are not open to sanction by their members back home. These are the flaws in the constitutional process or in the constitutional makeup of our political parties. When you are representing a people, then you derive your mandate and legitimacy from them. So before you cast a vote on a very important matter like this, you ought to go back home and call a larger state executive meeting and get a mandate of who to support. It is not your personal opinion or personal interest under these circumstances. These are the issues that have bedeviled our march towards participatory democracy.
Ali Modu Sharif has said he is going to make sure the PDP returns to power in 2019. Do you think this is a man who can lead the PDP back to power?
No, that's not even, the issue does not even arise. He must have, misunderstood his role and his position in this matter. He is not going to lead us to any 2019. It's not going to happen. He is just there to fill out the vacancy and fulfill the tenure of the Northeast as the chairman of the party. What happens to the party after he leaves that office will be determined by the party and those who the reins of power will be given to. It is superfluous and it is baseless. That statement is just an effusion, from his mind. It has nothing to do with PDP.
You must admit that this man is probably looking beyond the tenure that you're talking about for the northeast of the country.
No, I've just said to you, anybody can look into any horizon or delusionary issues that comes to his mind. It does not matter. But as a political party and organization, we must focus on what our laws and constitutions say. So that is what is the situation. Yes, I am aware. Well, naturally, he ought to have gotten a waiver. All right? Whether this waiver was given or was not given, I'm not aware. And I'm not sure about that. But, those considerations are not important. And Alhaji Ali Modu Sharif has been nominated and sworn in as the acting national chairman for a specific tenure that is guided by our constitution and confirmed by the judgment that is with that the court gave to Alhaji Ahmed Gulak. The judgment says that if somebody must be either Gulak or somebody else must be appointed from the Northeast to spend the time remaining for the past president, Alhaji Adamu Muazu. That's where it ends, period. That's the truth. That is the constitution and that is the court judgment. Anything outside that is an illegality and it cannot stand.
You see this playing out eventually, especially when you consider what, members of, should I say, the Senate caucus now of the Southeast and South-South coming out to reject Ali Modu Sharif and saying if something is not done, we're going to see mass defection in the coming days, weeks and months.
Well, this is part of the embodiment of my word, using the word carefully, that we made a fatal error. The fatality is embedded in the possible consequences of this action. I just pray to God that our people will have enough patience, all right, to allow some of us and, those who are also, major stakeholders in the party from next week move into these affairs and try to find a way out of this quagmire.
What would be your last word on this, Dr. Okukwe?
My last word is that this party shall be ruled by the wishes of the majority of its followers, of its followership nationwide. Number two, this party shall be guided at all times in all it does by the rule of law. Number three, this party shall imbibe the culture of participatory and inclusive democracy. Anything outside those pillars will not stand.
And is it true that a group of ministers who served under the former president are also against the choice of Ali Modu Sharif?
That's the fact. I can confirm that. I've spoken to many of them. That's the fact.
Dr. Donye Okukwe, thank you very much for talking to us on DEJI360. Well, I've been speaking with Dr. Donye Okukwe, the former senior special assistant to President Goodluck Jonathan on public affairs. We'll take a short break now and we'll continue this discussion. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.